brothers WISP. The brothers WISP, brothers WISP. The brothers WISP. The brothers.
You're now listening to Greg. It's the brothers.
Hey guys, this is Mike with the Brothers WISP. This is our first time on this new platform, so hopefully it doesn't suck. We're at WISPapalooza 2018. This is the biggest WISPapalooza ever, although everyone is bigger than the one before, so everyone will be the biggest. We're speaking with Daniel White from what? How do you say that?
Atheral.
Atheral. Atheral technology redefined. What do you do? I've known Daniel for many years, and this just started like
60 days ago.
Yeah, so like just recently.
We just incorporated. We actually are launching here at the show. Atheral is a wholesale and white label voice over internet telephony platform. We're providing a voice service for both internet service providers and managed service providers to be able to brand and sell as their own to both residential and business customers across the continental United States.
Sweet, yeah, and it's a pretty good timing, even though kind of some of the first hurdles have already kind of taken their bites, but there was a lot of WISPs that, despite a lot of pushing out there on their get the 477s filed correctly and offer voice service to prevent some of those calf builders from coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the biggest criteria for CAF is that you have to offer a voice service. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to strongly promote it or that every customer has to have it, but you have to offer it on your website, in your marketing material, for you to block somebody else from getting CAF funds in an area that you already serve. And a lot of ISPs don't necessarily realize that. By offering our white label product, it enables you to offer voice without the engineering expertise or the capital expenditure of rolling your own switch, and it allows you to check that box with the FCC that you offer voice services. I think the other thing that a lot of ISPs also don't realize in that sense is that they think nobody wants phone services today. A lot of ISPs are like me in that we're very technology forward thinking people. And we go, well, our cell phones work great. So why would I need a voice line at my house? But there's still over 40% of households in the United States have a dedicated landline in their house, be it a VoIP service or be it a landline phone from their ILEC or CLEC, because it tends to skew towards those over 50, primarily because it's something they've always had and they don't want to lose that number. But we're also seeing a lot of demand in very rural areas where cell phone service isn't reliable. And tech forward people might think, well, then you can just do cellular over Wi-Fi. But that still doesn't check the box for a lot of people, young or old, that they have a dedicated landline, especially for emergencies or maybe for alarm systems or for other things that might require some sort of telephony access. So there's still a lot of demand. And the really interesting part about VoIP in general is the market as a whole is actually growing annually. So while the take rate in the residential space might be declining some, the take rate overall, especially in the business space, so for your business customers, it's actually growing by about 15% every year, is expected to do so through 2025. So there's a lot of really good opportunities to offer VoIP and make 50 to 60% margins on really just an add-on to something that you're already doing, is providing broadband.
Sure, yeah, and I think that's something that a lot of WISP, some of the arguments I see against doing voice are that it's hard, that you don't really make any money at it, that they don't need to, that nobody wants it, and it's like all of those things are wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can be hard if you have to build your own switch. There's certainly a lot of expertise we have, and actually one of the services we're offering as a company is we're providing consulting services to ISPs that have their own switches, because one of the things we find is a lot of ISPs maybe rolled an Asterisk box at some point, or they even bought maybe a NetSapiens platform or a Bicom platform, and then realized maybe there's one engineer that knew it and left the company. Maybe there was a couple engineers that kind of knew it but didn't really know it. We're finding a lot of people need Tier 3 engineering support. So not only are we offering white label services to ISPs and MSPs, we're also helping companies that have their own switches support them. In fact, we've talked to a number of some of even the biggest CAF winners of this last round that have their own switches and told the FCC, yes, we offer voice services, but now we're talking to them because they realize they might not be able to support what they just offered to the FCC. You know, that they don't have the engineering support on that switch. So we actually hope to help a lot of those CAF winners with their VoIP service that they now have to provide as part of the CAF award process. So yeah, it can be daunting to offer VoIP if you're doing it all yourself, but by doing white label, quite literally, all you have to do is sell it. From a configuration standpoint, we provide the templates, we provide everything you need to do. It's a little bit of paperwork, just say, hey, I want to port this number, but it's a very simple piece of paper we have to have you fill out. It's really simple. And from a regulatory compliance standpoint, a lot of people get kind of worried about that they have to do it. And you do have to do it. You have to pay the taxes to the proper authorities, but there's a lot of companies we can help refer you to that will make that process super simple, so you don't have to worry about doing that yourself.
Yeah. I've been doing VoIP actually 1 year longer than I've been a WISP, so 15 years now, and it's just. I understand not everybody can do everything, but it's sometimes you have to find somebody to do it just to be relevant.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other really important thing when you're looking at white label providers is one, do they offer all the current features? Because we've actually found, talking to some ISPs at the show here, is that they're using platforms that haven't been updated in 4 or 5 years, and that they don't have some of the latest features like SMS, or even some simple things like call recording that businesses are really going to require. The other things that we're finding here is that a lot of the white label providers out there don't provide good support. And the nice thing that we've got behind us, and that my co-founder and I, Russell Irwin, strongly believe in, is in support. A lot of white label providers really like the churn and burn, that, hey, it's cheaper to get a new provider on our service than it is to support the ones we have. And we feel very differently. We're both former ISP operators. We know what it's like to be an ISP and to provide a service, and we want you to be proud to offer it as your own. So we're going to support, provide multi-levels of support. We've also talked to a number of ISPs about very unique support options and doing things in a way that helps support their business and the growth of the platform. So if you have a need or you're concerned about support, we probably have an answer for you to make it as easy as possible for you to offer. Okay.
Yeah. And so then where do people find you once the show's over?
So once the show's over, you can email us at info@atheral.com, which is ATHERAL. You can also visit our website at atheral.com. Obviously, I'm very active in the Facebook groups and the WISP ISP groups, so please reach out to us, give me a call. For those of you that have worked with me in the past, my cell phone number hasn't changed. Happy to work with you and discuss your needs and to customize potentially something that will fit your business, whatever it might be.
Sweet. And so then, I guess one final thing, Atheral, what's that? Where does that come from?
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things when you first start a company is figuring out what to name it. My co-founder wanted to call the company VoIP Done Right. It was kind of a dream of his for a very long time, and it was a dream I shared. But the problem with that is that, not to play our cards today, but we plan to do a lot more in the cloud and a lot more services to ISPs. We see a lot of needs that we can help. So we needed to pick something that was a little bit more generic but fit the industry. So one day as we were throwing ideas back and forth, I kind of started with Ethernet, which we all know, which is a play on the word erythrial. And I just tweaked the letters some and found that Atheral was an available domain, so we snatched it up, and that's the direction we took. So, you know, I know it might be a little bit of a stretch. That was the thought process I went through that day, and it stuck. So,
sure. Yeah. You know, I don't know how long I spent trying to come up with names for different things we've done. You know, for my WISP or for our internet exchange. You know, once the internet exchange, you know, once we went beyond the Midwest, we can't call it Midwest IX. So so now what do we call it?
Right, absolutely.
And we just gotta pick something and rent with it, and whatever. But
yeah.
I think it's a good name.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
It's the Brothers Wisp. Let's take a ride through space on this mothership. Wireless networking. We talk about equipment and methodology, so sit back and start learning. Lighten up the tower so people can start searching. Shooting up the web in neighborhoods, net surfing. We got horrible jokes, we're loud and annoying, but we're informative facts, we're not disappointing. Just give us a listen, cause fun is the mission. I'm telling you, you don't know what you are missing. Ideas and some good comedy given. If you missed the show already, don't worry, you're forgiven.